the person we were yesterday is not the same person we are today, right? So who better to talk to? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to uplifting conversations that set your heart on fire. My name is Sarah Wade. I'm coming to you live from Perth in Western Australia. I'm an agent of change and I love having fun. With us today, we've got two pretty amazing gents from the other side of the world to me. How good is technology? We've got my co-host, as per usual, a lovely coach, lovely man, Mr. Neil Thrussell.
Welcome, and I'm just super pumped. I'm jacked to have Dakota on the show today, and I've started the new year off with a bang. So I'm just excited.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as I mentioned before, we've got Dakota King joining us from Texas. Welcome, Dakota. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. Glad to be here with everyone.
Now, Dakota's got an interesting story. He's gone from prison to purpose. Let's just get right in there, hey? Let's ask some deep questions. How did you get to this position, Dakota?
So is the question, how did I get to where I'm at today, or how did I get to prison?
Well, it could be the same story.
So it's kind of a long story. But anyways, back when I was in high school, I was just like any regular, high school kid, getting into parties and stuff like that, right? Didn't really want to go to school, didn't really want to go out there and get a job, stuff like that, right? So I ended up getting into partying, drugs, selling drugs, right? Not working or anything like that because I didn't want to have a job. I was just like, I can sell drugs. I'll just do that, right? So anyways, that led through a long series of, events and arrests over, like my senior year in high school. And I ended up getting a 10-year prison sentence when I was 19 years old, right? So I got sentenced to prison at 19. I went to prison for 6 years. I was in there for 6 years until I finally got out and made parole, right? And while I was in there, my first 2 years, I spent messing up, right? Getting involved in the same stuff, just messing up. And then I got caught in there. They put me in the back, right, where I couldn't come out the cell. And I decided at that point, I was just I just decided that I needed to change because I was at a really, really low point. And I knew that I had to do something because I didn't want this, right? So what I started doing was I started ordering a whole bunch of personal development books and just reading books, right? Stuff like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, to so many great books, right? Dale Carnegie. And I just started this journey of personal development, right? And when I started doing that, it just inspired me with a lot of faith and hope because these books gave me basically the blueprint on what you need to do in order to become successful, all the different traits, especially Think and Grow Rich. So I started having this vision that I'm going to get out and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to do something positive with my life, right? And instead of taking from people like I was, right, I was going to start giving to people and just find a way to do that, right? And it started with, real estate. I was going to get involved in real estate, and I did. So I got into that. But then, this dude that I took the real estate course from, he was doing email marketing. So I'm getting emails from him. I clicked on a link. I watched a webinar. They said, learn how to make money online. I was like, all right, cool. That sounds awesome. So I jumped into that, paid for a program. And that's when I started my online journey. And from there, I went on to invest over $25,000 into my online education, courses, program, mentors, and all that. I started as an affiliate at first, making sales as an affiliate. And then, I had gained enough knowledge to do coaching. So that's when I started my coaching business. And today I have a successful coaching business and I have multiple clients that I'm actually helping them build, launch, scale their businesses as well to get to 10K and beyond, just like I had in my own business. And that's how I got here today.
Wow, what a
Dakota,
share.
I love that you said that you spent 25K into your personal education, because going back to getting out of prison, I suspect, I've never been to prison, but I know many that have, you're not getting the 50K or 100K a year jobs. You're doing the menial labor to get by. So when you decided that you wanted this, I love the dedication that you said, screw it, man, I'm going to make this happen. So kudos to you. Was there a point in this where you thought, oh man, this is too hard? There was a something, and if, or was it just like, I don't care if this is hard, I'm just going to get over it and just do it?
Yeah, I fall more into the later category, where I was just saying, I don't care how hard it is, I'm just gonna do it, because I've already been through a hard situation, right? If I could get through 6 years of prison, I can get through anything, right? So nothing, starting my business isn't going to be harder than that, right? I mean, I know I'll have blocks and challenges and stuff like that. And yeah, just a quick note on what you were saying about how most people get out and, of prison and they're doing like the hard work, labor and all that. And I started with that. I had to get a job when I got out of prison. I was working in a warehouse, right? Getting paid like $8 an hour, and I couldn't do it. I left because it's not enough money, right? I can't live off that, right? I got another job driving a forklift, right? That one was like $12 an hour, still not enough money, right? So I was like, screw this. I'm not working in no factory or anything like that. I need to get into sales, right? And I've always been into sales. I used to sell drugs, right? So I know how to sell, right? I started selling solar panels. I started selling water treatment systems. I started selling cars and all that. And that brought me in a lot more money, thousands of more dollars than I would have made working at a factory or a workshop or a warehouse or whatever it is like that. And I would take that money and I would continuously invest into my business with the help of my family as well. They've supported me along my journey too. But yeah, getting back to your question, it was hard in my business. It was very hard at first, especially learning how to send out emails, build a funnel, do all the complicated tech stuff and all that. I'm just like, my head is spinning trying to figure it all out, but I did it and I got it done, right? Just from following my courses and the trainings that, from what I was taught and everything like that. And I overcame that, right? And I still have challenges in my business today, right? But, I never get to a point where I just say I'm going to give up. And the reason why is because I have a vision, right? I have a vision, and my vision is it's so, inspiring to me that it doesn't matter what challenges or blocks that I go through. My vision is going to pull, it keeps pulling me towards it, right? So I'm not going to get stuck along the way, right? And I think, and I see that this is where most people fall short, is that most people don't have a compelling vision that's strong enough to pull them through the obstacles and the challenges, right? Because there will be obstacles and challenges in getting from where you are to where you want to be, right? And what determines whether you get through that or not is, having a compelling vision that will pull you through those obstacles and those challenges. And, I was able to, dream and envision stuff and create my vision for years in prison. So I solidified that vision in prison, and I got out, and, it's still pulling me towards it every day, so, I don't have no issue, giving up or, not, saying this is too hard. That'll never happen. Right. Because of the vision.
That's beautiful. And thank you, Dakota, because that's one of the primary things. When your why is big enough, it will draw you and pull you. It won't, and that's beautiful that you had just so eloquently and said that. Thank you. Oh, another legend is
Right in the house.
commenting on it. So
Thanks for your comment, Trey.
what was your why when you were, if you could remember this aha moment when you were in prison and you're going, well, I got to do something. This isn't good. Whatever was going on in your mind, your young mind at the time, what was your why?
Yeah,
to move you from that to get to purpose.
Yeah. So my why in getting me from prison to purpose was first of all, my family, right? Because being separated from them just hurt and it sucked, yeah, especially when I ended up getting in trouble in there and they cut me off and put me in the back. No TV, no phones. I couldn't call my family no more. I would call them every day, say, cut me off from the phone, cut me off from the TV, and just stuck me in a cell with another guy. And I'm just, just basically in there in silence. All we have is the radio, and that was it. But, mainly it was my freedom. Right. It was just my freedom. Right. It was freedom. Right. Because just going from being able to be out here and just do things when I want to do them. And, just like the simplest things, like just, walking out a door, and I couldn't do that no more. And I just wanted my freedom more than anything, and to be back with my family. Right. Because, I learned that everybody that I was with, right, out, in the streets and doing all what we were doing, they didn't truly care for me, right? Because they were all gone as soon as I was gone, right? But my family was the one that was there with me. They're the ones that endured the pain and the struggles of, watching me go through prison and supporting me along the way and being there for me. So I just wanted to get back to them and like more than anything, just make them proud, right? Because they've always wanted to see me do good, but I got off track, right? And so I just wanted to make them proud and get my freedom back, so that I can live my life and actually create the success that I knew that I deserved, right? Because I didn't go about it the right way when I was in high school. Now I'm reading these personal development books and I'm like, oh, I got so much fire in me now, but I can't do nothing with it. I'm just in here. So now that I'm out, that fire is unleashed, right? And my vision is there and I'm moving towards it every single day.
So I trust that you really utilized your imagination. You were in the back, you had no access to anything except for books, right? You had the books and you were able to really immerse yourself in these massive worldwide and life-changing books. What was the first thing that you truly imagined? Like when you first opened that personal development book, what was that thing that really went, oh, yes, I can do this?
I would say, so it was the book Think and Grow Rich, right? And there's a story in there in the beginning called Three Feet from Gold, right? Where, this one guy was like, he was digging for gold and digging and digging and digging, right? Not finding no gold for, I don't know how long, probably years, right? And I've always been like that too, right? I've always been like kind of like digging for gold because I've always wanted money, right? And mainly because money to me means freedom, right? Freedom of choice to be able to do and buy the things that I want and that I need, right? But I grew up in a low income family, right? So I've never really had money. So that's why I had such a strong desire for money. But yeah, this guy is digging for gold. He ends up giving up, right? He goes home, he sells his lot off where he was digging to somebody else who wanted it, right? And then this new guy comes in and he starts digging. Or he hired like someone to come and look at the land and like, see where the gold veins might be. And so, they hired this guy. He came in, said, hey, dig right there. It's probably right there. He dug right there and he struck gold and became a very rich man. Right. And so it's a story of persistence, right? The first guy, he was digging and digging. He gave up. The other guy comes in. He's like, hey, I'll buy it for you. He had a little bit more imagination to go and hire somebody to, take a look at the land and kind of map out where the gold might be. And then he found it. Right. And that story really inspired me because it just, taught me that all I have to do is just be persistent. Like there's gold out there. Right. And all I have to do is just be persistent, no matter how many struggles I may face, although I might be in prison, although I might have a record and be a felon and all this other stuff that can get in the way. Right. Or, that we perceive can get in the way. It's out there and I just got to go get it and be persistent. So I would just, being persistent on the book, stacking up that knowledge, learning more stories and reading more inspirational stories like that, learning the actual principles of success. And, that was what truly inspired me and got me thinking like, this is possible. I can do it.
Wow. And Cindy's just said success is in the other side of fear. Too true. Yeah.
That's very true.
What were those fears when you were inside and you were about to come out? What were the fears that came up for you, Dakota?
okay, well, my fears when I first went in were I'm gonna die, right? I'm gonna die. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I've never gone through this before. Like I've heard all these stories, but it wasn't like that. I did go through some stuff, but um, coming out, um, coming out, my biggest fear was going back in. I really didn't have any other fear other than that. That was my biggest fear, is just coming out and then going back in, because so many people get stuck in a cycle of getting out, coming back in. I've been with people in there who got out and I still have to do time, and then I see them back in like months later, right? And it's just crazy, right? So like that was the biggest fear of mine, was just getting out and then somehow getting caught up in something and then going back in, right? I didn't want to do that. I needed to break that cycle, right? And I'm still here today. So it was a pointless fear. I mean, I knew that I wasn't going to do anything to go back in, but it was still like, man, I didn't know. What if I get a crappy parole officer and they try to put me back in? What if I don't know. I just it was just my mind, racing with all those fears getting out. But more than anything, I was way more positive getting out and happy than fearful, right? Like I was more grateful and happy and excited, and like that fear was in the back of my mind when I would go to the parole office and stuff like that. But it's no big deal. It's easy to stay out of there. It's just about choices.
So you studied all of this when you were in prison, and you come out with all these new ideas, and your family supported you were when you were in prison. Did they give you any kind of, really, you want to do this kind of looks, or were they completely behind you in the new and improved Dakota, when Dakota version 2.0, as he exited and he wanted and had these plans?
Yeah, but basically my family backed me the whole way through. Anything that I chose to do in there, they supported it because they knew that I was making the right decisions, right? So if I wanted to book, they would send it to me, or if I told them, hey, I'm going to get out and do this, they would support me in it. So yeah, they were very very supportive. I never like got any like backlash from them or anything like that. Yeah, nothing like that. If anything, I inspired them a lot, right? Because like especially my mom, with my mindset and just being in there and going through all these struggles. But I would call her and still tell her, hey, I'm doing great, and she'd just be like, well, how can you be doing great if you're in there and you're just, all this stuff is going on? I'm just like, it's a choice, right? Happiness is a choice. I choose to be happy in here. They, even though regardless of my situation, I'm not going to let my situation determine how I feel. I can still choose to enjoy my time while I'm here, make the best of it, and stay in a positive mood. Why be down and out about it? So, that my mindset was really inspiring to my mom, my family stuff. I would always share stuff with them. If anything, like any backlash, it'd be maybe when I started reading Robert Kiyosaki, and I would tell my grandma about, I'm going to invest and I'm going to do this. I'm going to, make a lot of money and build assets and all that. And, my grandma's limiting beliefs would like bump in with that and be like, well, you need money to make money and all that. And I was just like, well, if you know what you're doing, you can acquire build assets and all that. Right. But yeah, that's mainly it.
I love that you said that happiness is a choice. Happiness really is a choice. And if you can relate to that, drop something in the comments. I can see that Dre has said that happiness is a choice, and too true. We've got really strong opinions, and we can believe whatever we want. Why not choose to be happy, even if you're stuck in a cell? Why not? Powerful.
Definitely. And it makes the day like so much, it just makes your day so much better. I mean,
so
and not only that, but it's inspiring to others, right? Because most people expect you to be mad or angry or sad if you're going through some situation like that. But you see that you're happy, it inspires other people to, just make that change as well, and shift that perspective in their mind.
So your grandmother, she's still with you?
Yes.
So how has she changed? Because you said that she had some limiting beliefs, and now that you've had success and you're not the same person, and she has proof that you're not the same person. Has she changed?
I wouldn't say that she's changed. Like, she's stuck in her ways, right? She's not trying to build a business. She's not trying to build a business. She's not trying to do all that. She, sits at home and reads her Bible and does her stuff, right? And that's it, right? Like, yeah, she is very happy for me, right? She's very happy and she's less stressed out now.
There we go. So there is a change.
Yeah,
there's a beautiful
she's
change. She's less stressed.
Yeah, less stress.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about your story is that you did have the support of your family. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who don't have that support. So Dakota, knowing that you've been in that situation where you may or may not have the support of your loved ones, what would be some advice that you would give to others when they're wanting to make that change, despite the situation they're in?
Yeah, so when my best suggestion would be to just follow your heart, follow your passion, and do what you truly want to do, right? I know a lot of people don't have the support of their families when they start their businesses and stuff like that. And it can be discouraging, but at the end of the day, right, years from now, 10, 20 years from now, when you're looking back, you're going to regret, right, not making that decision because you didn't have that support of your family, or maybe you felt like they're going to judge you or criticize you, and you're trying to please them and make them happy because they want you to go to college, get a degree, get a good high-paying job and all that. But you don't want to do that. You want to start a business, and your beliefs are clashing. I would just say just go with what you really want to do, because at the end of the day, like, you'll regret it if you don't, right? And you don't want to be miserable or unhappy years down the road because regretting that you didn't take action on doing what you really wanted to do. And for anybody who does have the support of their family, but like maybe not like financial support and stuff like that, or like, because I get a lot of financial support and help from my family, right? Throughout in prison and like throughout my business journey, some people just don't have that because their families just maybe don't have the money to provide that type of help. But best thing to do is just to learn to be resourceful. It's just like, you have to be resourceful, right? It's a skill that we just have to develop as entrepreneurs. And I learned a lot about resourcefulness when I was in prison. I mean, there was so many things in there that we would do and that we would create in order to survive in there, or just not even survive, but just make it easier, right? Little things like learning how to make string, right, from the boxers, and pulling the boxers apart and taking the string and wrapping it up with a book and stuff, and then making real string that we would use to like send a line over to the next cell and like pull over some chips or something like that, attach it to the line, and then pull it back into our cell and trade stuff back and forth. Just little stuff like that. It's being resourceful. I would cut up chip bags, right? And I learned how to like cut up chip bags and fold them with paper and make little like designs and hearts and like little shoes and stuff for my family. I'd send that to them just out of trash, what most people think would be trash, and I'll turn it into something like a little heart, and I'll send it to my family, right? And have it hanging on a string, and I still have that. And it's just about being resourceful, like, so that would be the biggest asset and skill that you can develop in wanting to do what you want to do, grow your business or whatever it is, without the support of your family or without having that extra help, is just being resourceful.
I love that.
So we're not quite halfway through our hour with you, but what is the best way, so that in case people are coming or going, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Dakota?
Yeah, so if any of you guys want to get a hold of me, the best place would just be to check out my Facebook profile and send me a direct message. Just say, hey, I saw you on, the Uplift show. Just wanted to reach out, whatever. And I'll be happy to connect with you, right? So just reach out to me on my personal Facebook profile. That's where I contact everyone.
Great. And I also, we were talking in the green room, and you had mentioned that you're scheming, always the entrepreneur, that you've got some things coming down in the pipeline and that you want to share with people, but you're not quite ready to release it. So I'm going to say that if whatever Dakota is sharing with you and you want to know more, just sign up connect with Dakota so that you can stay in his loop, because I've known him only a couple months now. I think I met you in early December,
Yeah.
and we were on a we he had just finished an online program, and then we were in a similar workshop together, and I just went, I need some more of this, Dakota, and our listeners need it, and it was within seconds of meeting him, and so I highly encourage you to 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 connect with him. So, and what is it? Take a few moments. What is it that you actually provide people?
You're asking me that question?
Absolutely.
Okay, I thought you were still talking to the audience. All right, yeah. So exactly what I provide people. I provide people coaching on launching their business and scaling it to 10K, just like I have, right? And specifically, helping either coaches, affiliate marketers, with organic Facebook strategies, right? On how to get traffic, leads, and sales into their business, right? Just using their personal Facebook profile, Messenger, and calls, and that's it.
Thank
Sweet.
you for
Thanks.
sharing. Hey, Dakota, what is one of the biggest things that you've noticed when you're in a situation with a client and they're like, I'm new to sales, I'm struggling, I don't know what to do, help me, help me, help me. What is one of those big things that's popping out? There's a glaring problem that you've noticed with their sales.
I would say, like, one of the biggest things that I see that people lack is they lack a step-by-step strategy and process that they can just repeat over and over again to get those leads and get those sales into their business, right? Especially beginners, people who are just starting out, like, they have no process or strategy, right? People who have been doing it for maybe a month, 2 or 3 months, right, 6 months. Sometimes their strategy is a little mixed up too much, right? Because they're like all over the freaking place. They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're doing paid ads and Google ads and like all funnels and all different types of stuff, right? And they're just just too mixed up into too much different stuff, right? So their process is not refined enough to actually get them results in one area, right? And I always say it's impossible to manage all of those platforms at once. It will just lead to overwhelm and burnout, right? Because you can't post, no one person can post content on all different social media platforms at once, right? Unless you have a team working for you and doing all that for you in the back, right? But that's the biggest problem I see, is just a lack of a clear strategy, right? A lack of a clear strategy and a process to generate leads and sales into their business.
Interesting. I noticed strategy is a big problem for a lot of people, but so too their self-worth. Neil, have you noticed that as well?
Yes, and that's a complicated question, but the simplest answer is yes. When we have no confidence, we're not willing to to project our confidence in our sales. Or it doesn't matter what you're going to say. If you have the confidence, and it doesn't matter what you're well, it does matter, but whatever you're selling is easier to engage in a dialogue and a conversation, because really that's what sales is engaging in a dialogue and a conversation, and ensuring that what I'm offering is appropriate for my client. And if I can't do it with confidence and I don't believe in my product and myself, I'm hooped.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you pointed that out, Neil, because that's another huge problem, right? That I've also noticed as well, right? Is just a lack of certainty, right, in their product, and a lack of certainty in themselves, but more in themselves, right? And that's a major issue, because I could give you the process and the strategy, but if you don't execute it with certainty when you're in Messenger or on the phone, it's not going to work, right? It won't work. So certainty, having that confidence in yourself, belief in yourself, confidence in your product, certainty in your product, right? It definitely makes all the difference when, you know, you're trying to make sales, right? And especially for when you're just getting started as well, because you know, if you don't really believe in yourself, then once the challenges come and it gets hard, then it'll be easier to give up, right? But when you believe in yourself, you know, you're like, I'm gonna make this happen, and it's just gonna happen, right?
Absolutely. So, to our viewers and our listeners, however you're uh, with us today or on the replay, we'd love to know where you're tuning in from. I know that Dre is tuning in from Australia, and some of our users are in the group. We don't know where they're tuning in from. Where's Cindy tuning in from? So we'd love to know where you are. Oh, yeah, with great advice. But Cindy, where are you coming from? Whoa.
How good is technology in that, you know, you can literally talk to a global audience. We've got Cindy's coming from Sunrise in Florida. I know that we've had people in the past who've come from almost every continent except for Antarctica. But we'll get there. I don't know. We'll talk to a penguin, a seal, someone down there. We'll get something happening, and we'll boost the certainty and confidence of the people down there too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Neil, I don't know about you, but I noticed when I first started my business, I was in another part-time job. I was doing a lot for others. And when I came home, I was pretty tired. And then I wanted to work on my own business too. And I'm curious because I know that you work with 9-to-5ers who are trying to do a bit more in their life too. What is one tip that you could share with someone like that?
Schedule. Really be diligent in looking at what your week looks like, and then ensuring, like, if you really want it to happen, you need to plan it and ensure that those loved ones around you, or whether you're doing it by yourself, that people know your schedule so you don't have competing interests. The other one is the easy one: get plenty of rest, keep your water, keep your hydrated, keep your energy. And what Dakota said right at the very beginning: why? What your why will pull you forward. You can get so easily involved in something when your why is so huge. And if you're struggling with the energy behind it and you don't want to do it, I would be looking. Is it your why, or is it someone else's why that you're doing this for?
Huge, huge.
Mm.
And I'll add to that too. I love that you mentioned not only scheduling for yourself, but sharing it. And I'll add to that, you know, to delegate, you know, to say, hey, you know, I'd really want to do this. It'd be great if you could help me with this, or whether that be a friend or family member, or if you actually do outsource, and whether it be something as simple as getting a cleaner to come in and do those household chores while you're starting, or getting an assistant of another kind to do those things to take that weight off your back. I know for me, I really do not like doing the books. So guess who doesn't do the books, and guess who delegates that side of her business? What about you, Dakota?
Yeah, for me, as far as I personally done that. You know, having to work a job and then come home and work on my business. And to me, it just comes down to like desire and commitment, right? There's a quote from Napoleon Hill says that, you know, just as a small flame creates a small amount of heat, right? And a bigger flame creates a bigger amount of heat, right? A weak desire creates weak results, right? And a strong desire creates big results, right? And you know, for me, when I was working my job, like I just was diligent in, you know, getting up in the morning, if it was sometimes at 4 o'clock, right, and doing my videos and posting content, throughout my day, coming home, working on business even more. I would even sacrifice time with my girlfriend and my family, right, and just work on business. Now, I don't recommend doing that, you know, to everybody, because you know, you want to maintain your relationships, and you know, I put some stress on that, right? But just being absolutely committed to what you want to do, and managing your schedule, right? And just fitting things in where you can fit them in and getting rid of all the distractions. And this is why it's so important to have a clear vision of exactly what it is that you want, so that you know every day, every moment, what it is that you need to focus on to get to that next step. Because if you don't have that clear vision, then it'll be easy to get caught up in distractions, right? Distractions like watching your favorite TV show, or, you know, going out with your friends, or going to a party, or, you know, distractions like, you know, sitting scrolling on Facebook for 3 hours, right? Watching cat videos. And that's what it comes down to, right? Is time management and just being able to fit in all of the things that you need to do to get to that next level and make your vision happen, where you can fit them in around your current schedule. And being committed to that, right? And being committed to that. And what it also comes down to is just, it's all about sacrifice, right? You're going to have to sacrifice the things that you like to do, right? And want to do for the things that you need to do, right? And there's going to be a lot of uncomfortability in that, because, you know, we like to go and watch our favorite TV shows and go out with friends and family and all that and whatever it is, right? But those aren't going to get us to the next level, right? What's going to get us to the next level is going to be doing those more uncomfortable things, which is getting up early, right? Going to sleep later, you know, going live on Facebook, right? Posting content, messaging people, getting on calls, getting out of your comfort zone by talking to more people and all those things. So we have to sacrifice what we like and want for what's necessary, right? And then this was one of my biggest takeaways was in prison, right? Was that most people don't change until they're forced to change, right? If I wouldn't have went to prison, I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have changed unless like I just got into, you know, a really bad situation out here. But, you know, when we get to a point where like we just have to change, it becomes necessary for us to do a thing, or else this is going to happen and we don't want that, right? So for me, it was like it was either change or stay in prison for the rest of my life, change or keep coming back to prison, right? That was something, my desire to change, right? And the pain that I would have to go through and endure to change was greater. I'm sorry, I said that backwards, right? The pain of staying the same, right, was greater than the pain to change, right? There's still pain, right? Because the things I need to do to change are still uncomfortable. It's going to be hard for me to change into that. But the pain of that was smaller than the pain of repeating that cycle over and over and staying in prison, right? So pain motivates us to take action, right? Pain motivates us to take action the same way that pain will motivate your prospects to take action and buy your program when you're talking to them on a sales call, right? But that's what it was for me, was, you know, pain motivating me to take action to change, and then my vision to keep pulling me towards it and staying focused on that, while that way I can remove the distractions and sit down and be like, okay, these are the things I need to focus on. Where can I fit them into my schedule? And that's how I did it. Right. While still working a 9-to-5 job. And then it got to a point where I was like, screw the job. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make it work. And then I did.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take a few moments out of here, because as I said in the beginning, that I was really juiced because I'm starting to work on a new project. I'm a 3 times international best-selling author. And in 2010 was my first book. Over the last 11 years in my coaching repertoire, I never once decided to share this knowledge. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I realized that I have all of this knowledge that I need to share with people. So and it was through a conversation with Sarah just last week. We were going, okay, so what are we going to do, or how can I make this work for me better? And I went, well, I'll just go and create this program. And boom, one of our teachers has taught us that you do a little market research, you put out a couple questions, and I did. And I put a question out, who would be interested? And my Facebook wall lit up, and Tina's going to wake up. There we go. Tina's our producer today, and so I put up a program together that is running on February 15th, and it's an hour and a half, and it will be insights into self-publishing your book, unveiling the mysteries, because many people just think it's like a black box, this self-publishing thing. And when you know the process, it's not rocket science. There is a process and there's hoops to jump, and there's the process, and in order to do it, but it's available to everyone. Not everyone wants to do it, but if this is of interest to you, that you have a book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, that you would like to look into self-publishing, sign up. Go to neilthrussell.com/events and sign up. It's free. It's an hour and a half. And I would love to see you there, and I would love to share with you. There's pure content, pure raw content. So thank you. And yeah, so Sarah, have you got anything to share?
I have. I've been working towards getting back to Evolve, which is my 9-week program, which runs coincidentally with the school terms in Perth and Western Australia. So the 9 out of 10 weeks. And we spend some time where you really get to delve deep into yourself and get to know the real you. And if you want to do that quicker, I'm also doing a map of me 2-day breakthrough session where we'll get really creative. And I'll ask you interesting things like, if you were a solar system, what would it look like? I'll ask you some really interesting questions like that, because these kind of questions will allow you to look at things in a new perspective and really help you to evolve into the person that you want to be, leaving behind your old values and stuff that really just doesn't suit you. So yeah, I totally invite you to come along on a journey and get some insight, not only into your life, but into the life that you want to live tomorrow. And think about how that could really benefit the relationships that you do have with other people as well. It's absolutely life-changing. Thank you for the opportunity for me sharing this. And I'm loving all the feedback I'm getting, and I welcome further conversation. So just reach out. You know how to find me in DM. Trust we'll talk soon.
Sweet. So not to leave Dakota out, he hasn't finalized things, but just share what you can. Give us a little sneak peek or preview of what you've got coming down the pipe.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I love the self-publishing book, by the way, that you're working on, Russell. I'm planning on publishing my story in my own book one day, so that's probably something I'm going to need. And I love Sarah's Evolve thing. I've done a lot of, personal evolving and all that type of stuff in prison, so I love that type of stuff. As for me, what I'm working on is I'm working on a free 5-day challenge to help people launch their first 10K coaching business, right? And also to help either affiliates or coaches who they have their business, but they're still kind of stuck, right? Also get to their first 10K and scale their business beyond that, right? So I'm still working on things. I haven't officially launched the 5-day challenge yet. There's still some work I'm doing in the background, building out the funnel for it and the Facebook group and all that. But it's going to be launched within 30 days for sure, right? Probably a little bit less than that. I want to get this going and out to you guys as fast as possible. But I'm doing a free 5-day challenge where we're going to cover my 3 business models, my 3 core business models on lead gen, right? Sales process, marketing, and all that. Specifically marketing and sales, right? Because this is what you need to have in place before you actually start making sales. You have to have the marketing in place, and then you have to have a sales process to take people through and that you can repeat over and over to get the results that you want, right? And this is for anybody who has an online business or who is looking to launch their online business, right? And my whole goal for this is to help people launch their business and actually get some results, some sales coming in, some leads, right? And get to 10K like I have, right? I spent about 12 months, right, trying to figure out everything, right? Making a bunch of mistakes, bad investments, stuff like that. And then finally, I got the process right. And then within 30 days, I scaled my business to over 10K, right? And it's still growing today. So, you know, if you guys are watching this, just imagine, you know, wherever you're at in your business, right? You can, most of us have the goal, or most of you guys have the goal of getting to 10K, right? If you aren't already there, right? Some people are past that. But if you're still in the beginning stages and you haven't launched your business yet, or if you're still trying to figure things out, you don't have a solid marketing strategy and a sales process in place yet, then this would be the perfect fit for you, right? And at the end of this, you can come out on the other side with a fully launched business and a lead gen and a sales process that you can use to scale your business to 10K and beyond. And also, you can find me you can get more content from me on my Facebook group, right? So if you go to my personal page, you can send me a message, say hi, I'd love to chat with you. And from there, you can click on the link to my group and you can join my free group where I post content on sales and all that in there as well.
I'm a member of the group, and Dakota over delivers. There's gold. There is gold in that there group.
Yeah, you know, there'll be a lot more to come.
It's just not another group. There's quality information there. Love it.
I'm actually curious, you know, with the world of business, traditionally, you know, suits, ties, short hair, you know, looking smick. How does your aesthetic go down with the general public when you say, I'm in sales, let me help you? Dakota?
Well, like, I guess, like, as far as online goes, I don't really have any, you know, issues with it. Like, I've never had nobody directly tell me, like, no, I'm not going to buy from you because you have tattoos, or no, I'm not going to buy from you because you have a beard. I'm not going to buy from you because you don't wear a suit. Like, I've never ever had that. And honestly, I really don't think that it even matters, because this is just about it. This is what the whole purpose of personal branding is to build a brand around you, around who you are, with authenticity and relatability, right? And so I just show up as I am, right? I don't, you know, show up in a fancy suit or with, you know, I can't get rid of my tattoos. I probably wouldn't, even if I could, right? I love them. But, you know, I just show up as me, right? And, you know, I have an audience, right? And I'm real, I'm authentic with them, right? I'm relatable. And I think more than anything in the online space today, that's all people are looking for, right? They're just looking for authenticity, relatability, realness, because there's tons of scams out there. There's tons of people, you know, faking fake profiles and all that, right? So people just want to see what's real. So I think it doesn't matter how you show up, right? Regardless if you're in business, right? You just show up, right? You just show up and you just be real and authentic and tell people what you do. And the people who are for you and like you are going to be with you, right? And that's how I show up in my business. I had one person during this whole time ever ask me about my tattoos, right? As an online marketer. He was another online marketer, but he complimented me on my tattoos and was like, dude, I love your tattoos, man. Like, I've been thinking about getting one. So it was just, you know, I was just being relatable, you know? But I've never had no direct backlash about that, or like people, you know, hating on it, you know, like I've never had that. Never had that.
It's interesting because most of us know who Gary Vaynerchuk is.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary V has got one of the biggest potty mouths, and yet he gets away with it because that's who he is. And bottom line, it's his brand. And if you don't like it, you will shop elsewhere because it's truly his authentic self. So I love what you said, Dakota, that when you are authentic and showing up as the real you, and people get it, and it doesn't feel like some phony put on show. That's what you're selling, and that's what your brand is. I love it.
100%.
Mm-hmm. I love the I sneak. I may have Facebook stalked you. I love the story behind the tattoo on your neck. Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, sure. So it's a tattoo of a diamond with roses, right? And if you scroll down, like, I did a post about this, right? It says always shining. And, you know, I got this back when I was like, before I went to prison, when I was still getting arrested and all that. But I got it because I knew that it's symbolic, right? First of all, diamonds are formed under pressure, right? So as beautiful as diamonds are, they have to go through a huge amount of pressure in order to be formed and to turn in, you know, to be shaped into something beautiful, right? Same thing with roses. Roses are beautiful, but they, you know, they have thorns, they can cause pain. So what that represents to me is that there's beauty in the struggle, right? Because we grow from the struggles that we have, and we become the person that we are in a better way, right? And that's what happened to me. Like I went through a lot of struggle, a lot of pressure, right? But on the other side of that, right, I came out as a diamond, right, polished, right, with, you know, a whole new mindset. And, you know, I found a lot of beauty in my struggle. Looking back, I you know, totally can see that, you know, out of all my struggles grew my strengths. Out of my weaknesses grew my strengths, right? And yeah, that's what that represents to me, right? And then basically just always shining, because regardless of what my situation is, I'm always going to shine through it.
I love that. I love that. And I'll add to that too, you know, celebrating our scars, celebrating that which we've been through can be so powerful for us. You know, whether you're a breast cancer survivor and you use your mastectomy scar to put a rose, you know, for lack of another example right now, to really celebrate those scars, or whether it be like the Japanese do when a vase breaks and they put it back together with gold and they really highlight those breaks. Celebrate you, because what you've been through has brought you on the journey to where you are today. And where you are today is pretty bloody awesome. You are alive and you've got choices. As Dakota has said already, so you've got choices. Why not choose to celebrate your scars and go forth like a warrior instead of a warrior?
Absolutely. So well said, both of you. Yeah, I'm loving it. So much gold. If you're listening to the replay or been joining us online, there's just so much that's packed in this episode. It's just I'm absolutely loving it. And as I'm formulating, because we're getting close to the end, and I'm like, what can I possibly say to try to wrap this up? And I'm like, for once in my life, I'm like, I have very little to say, but that's which is unusual for me. I can usually always fill something. But I would like to wrap up and acknowledge Dakota on his wonderful journey, that at some point in time he made a choice, an active choice to change his direction in his life. And that's simply what we all need to do, is live our life from a place of choice and from a place of love and happiness. And if you don't have a community around to support you, find one. Create a community of loving, supportive people. Dakota, is there anything that you would like to leave our viewers and listeners with?
Yes. First of all, I'd just like to invite you guys to go check out my personal page. Message me. Let's have a chat. I'd love to connect with everyone, right? And, you know, my takeaway for you would be that in your journey, right, in your journey to success, as you're, you know, going along the steps and you're working to get there, right, just do this one thing, right? Is just impact as many people as possible, right? Help as many people as possible, right? Because the world doesn't change without somebody impacting it, right? And just be a person of impact, right? And help as many people as possible, right? Because that's my purpose and my mission, right? Is, you know, my aim is to help thousands of families and business owners across the world, right, to transform their lives, right? And, you know, I can only do so much on my own, but, you know, through you guys, you know, we can all do that and create that impact and make it reach a lot further.
I love that. I love that impact and that almost the wave of kindness that you mentioned. You know, that's how I would phrase it. You put it slightly different, but I believe that wave of kindness is something that we can do whether we've got money or not. You know, it's easy to smile at someone as you're walking down the street. Okay, if you're wearing a mask, people can still see it in your eyes. People will still see you spark up. And I'm sure that you, like me, have had those smiles with people, whether it be in the shopping center or elsewhere when you're out and about, and you can still smile at each other. So if you're feeling like you're a bit trapped at the moment because of COVID, thank your lucky stars. You are not like Dakota was a couple of years ago in a prison cell. Right now, you've got the opportunity to use the internet, which he didn't. You've got the opportunity to do a lot of things that were available live that are now becoming more and more available online. So why not do that? Why not spread that wave of kindness with someone from another side of the other side of the world, or spend time in a museum in some place that you wish that you went when you were a kid? Like, obviously I like art, so I've done a lot of museum tours, which I could never do before. I've never been overseas. I spent a lot of time traveling around Australia, but I really took advantage and got resourceful. And you know, that touches back on what Dakota said before about getting resourceful and doing you well and not being held back by other people's fears or your own. Just be you and wear those scars with pride. I know I do. And I trust that you know that you can reach out to any one of the people on the screen right now, whether you're watching us live or in replay, whatever platform you're on. We appreciate you. We've spent time together, and I trust that you've learned something, and we would love to hear about your takeaways. So please share them with us. Neil, is there anything you would like to say before we head off?
No, just know that you are loved, and thank you for tuning in to today's Uplift.
Appreciate that. And Dakota, one last moment.
Just be the best you can be, you know, in so many words. Be the best you can be.
Be the best you can be. Everyone is unique, just like you. So why not go out there, have conversations, have uplifting conversations that set your heart on fire. Get to know others and design the life you desire. Take care. We'll see you next time on Uplift.